Hey bunnies, welcome back to Eliza. We're just about to meet up with Raina, but first, I believe we have to do our last transparency mode. So I'll get that out of the way before I meet with Raina again. I don't know why it takes me in here. I don't think I'm actually in here, I'm just checking my phone. Maybe. Oh, see, when you said to Raina, this is very dystopian, what you meant was, what he heard was, how more dystopian can I go? And he's gone, hey, look, this is Soren. This is how Soren feels right now. What the fuck? Dr. Nora, sorry. The show was great. I just wanted to say, hi Soren, thanks, had a wild night. Not the wildest night I've ever had, but up there. Definitely feeling pain in muscles I didn't know I had. Yeah, we're getting older. That's not fair. I'm far older than you. Besides, you look fantastic. Your beauty's only grown. Sorry if that's inappropriate. Yeah, so he's kind of like hitting on her again. Fairlier than I used to be, but the fire's never gone out. Still need to get out and do some bacchanalian from time to time. Yeah, I was a little surprised to see you there. I can use Evelyn to come too, you know? Didn't think she'd have gone otherwise. I know you fancy her. Interesting. I miss you. I know you don't miss me. I know not to trust words like that. It's true I miss you. I want to see you again. I'll schedule something again soon. Can't believe I do this. Sometimes I hate myself so much. Okay, so he's got like a prostitute, I guess, that he's telling her that he loves her, which is an interesting situation. I've always admired you. You work with Raina and put up with him every day. Takes a lot of work, I know. You're talented, wasting their job, you deserve more. And he's obviously drunk texting. Raina was not an easy boss. Let me take you out sometime, we can trade stories. Is Sarah... Did we work with Sarah? Or was Sarah like... You around? Sarah doing me? Yeah, so he's just like, basically, his whole text chat is just him hitting on girls, basically. Girls a lot younger than him, specifically. So, and the problem here is not that we think it impairs you. You've clearly demonstrated to us whatever your process is, it's working and generating great results. What we're concerned with is optics. How it would look to those on the outside if it were to become known that there is a drinking culture at Eponia. You know as well as we do how rumors and hearsay can spread. I hear you about responsible use of alcohol and also about how most antidepressants don't even come close in terms of their immediate action. I've been there myself. What Walter and I are saying is simply to be careful, to not be so cavalier about this kind of thing, not only in the public sphere, but in front of your new hires as well. So there's like a drinking culture at the Eponia headquarters, and he like just, I guess, maybe, you know, gives a few beers around during work, I guess. Maybe it's worse than that. Maybe they go to parties and stuff together. So we can do this one of two ways. We can either work together as you suggest and stay professional colleagues forever. If you think you can really do that, I have my doubts. Or we can go our separate ways. There are plenty of spaces for us to cover a space of our own in this industry without us running into each other. Despite what you like to say about destiny, laying this out for you as a binary choice, you can make a concrete decision. Anya was, I think, one of the people that he was hitting on. Ghislaine, is it? No, Dad, just no. You're supposed to be the genius who developed all these great applications for mental health. Have you ever considered you might need a therapist yourself? Can I see outgoing messages? That's his son, I'm assuming. I'm hoping you take some time to remember your schedule to sit down with us and solidify a strategic communication plan for you and Eponia, including key messages and reputation. Hi, Dark Horse. Most people come to the seminar with a partner in order to practice and learn with their model, and I think that is definitely the most valuable way to attend. There have been people on their own who have sat in on the session and found it worthwhile, but there is a big difference between watching the ties being done and practicing them on a real person. This looks like it's like an S&M reply. Okay, so overall Soren is unhappy. I mean, yeah, because people are suggesting a therapist and he's drinking a lot. Soren is attempting to connect with others. Agree and agree. So obviously the point of this is that you're supposed to be agreeing. The only point of this, as far as a gameplay perspective, is to read their chats, and then this is just how Eliza reacts. This isn't a coincidence. It can't be. Oh no, really? At the Skanda headquarters building, Raina's assistant leads me into a different elevator than last time. It's located at the end of a long corridor protected by multiple keycard swipes. Inside the elevator smoothly ramps up speed as we stand silently. I kind of wish I could talk to this lady. Sarah, if I remember right? But I'm not sure what I would say. She's not looking at me, she's looking off into the distance somehow, even though it's an elevator, and the wall is right there. So this is the Sarah that Sora was talking to. Elevator rides really are awkward, aren't they? I have the sense that if I tried to say something friendly, I'd be met with stony silence. Or if I asked a sincere question, she would deflect it. interesting. I don't know why you would assume that. You'd have never met this person.
Evelyn.
Oh, Evelyn.
Would you like some tea?
I'm fine, thanks.
Fine, thanks. Why did you show me Soren's phone?
I would probably never actually decline tea, but Raina spooks me.
It's not a surprise anymore these days, is it? A man who enjoys society's respect behaves poorly in his private life? We accept that as common today. Maybe even uninteresting. Would you really be okay working with someone like him?
It was a huge violation of his privacy.
Huge violation of his privacy. You really don't care about others.
Privacy. Everyone's worried about privacy. Skanda wouldn't be where it is today if our customers didn't trust us to protect their data.
That's the thing. The customers are trusting you to protect the data, and you're not doing it.
We employ most, if not all, of the top experts in cybersecurity. It's built into all of our products right from the beginning, unlike our competitors.
It's like a business. It's a business deal.
More to protect our
Every time he talks to you,
That's not the case I'm worried about right now.
like, he's saying we're protecting the data, but within Skanda, the data is not protected. You can access it wherever you are.
I mean, misuse from the inside. For example, if someone wanted to keep tabs on a former employee who was starting a potential competitor.
Oh, but what if it was perfectly legal due to
It's
multiple agreements that the
we're
good
talking
guy
about
signed with us when he came here?
Ethics.
Are you done questioning me like a tech journalist?
It's an ethics question, not a legal question.
Do you
And
watch my
this
YouTube
is...
sessions too? Do you read my email? My text?
No, I haven't done any of those things. How's your
How do we know?
research on proxy use cases?
Because according to you, it's the contract that we also signed starting... I guess Eliza's... Evelyn's actually a tech person, so she could probably look into her phone to see if it's been accessed by Skanda. Although it would be hard to differentiate between the Skanda Wellness app's regular technology and regular input-output, I guess, and if it's stealing data from your phone, maybe. Maybe it's encrypted to the point where Evelyn can't unencrypt it to figure out what the data they're actually sending is.
Any new insights to share?
I'm not sure it's really helping people.
I'm not sure it's really helping people.
Our metrics indicate otherwise. Of course, it's only human to concentrate on a small number of corner cases.
Is there any case where we have seen it work? No.
I heard Soren gave you a demo of his direct stimulation machine. How's he doing now? All on his own.
It's interesting technology.
You could make or break his startup. Isn't it nice to have power?
No.
Do you find his vision compelling?
Yes.
A world free of suffering.
I'm skeptical.
By focusing on dreams, Soren is trying to defend his territory. The Western psychological tradition, chiefly Jung and his inheritors.
I'm not familiar with it.
Well, there's no need to be. It's just a bunch of unverifiable ideas. Let's be honest. What has this field actually accomplished? Soren used to try to argue with me about this.
So this is like very culty how he's talking now. He wasn't talking as culty before, it was more business. But it's like, oh, he's doing this. And then I'm like, hey, I don't really know what that is. And he's like, oh, you don't need to. How stupid is it though? That's really culty. That's dismissing other people's ideas and then saying, what do you think about these ideas that I'm not telling you about?
He would claim that
And you have to make a decision.
has helped thousands or tens of thousands, even millions. I would never dispute that directly. Instead, I would only add that professional psychics and astrologers have helped millions too. Tarot cards help people all over the world every single day. That doesn't mean it's a science.
Yeah. Would you say that a therapy is science too, though? Because it's very similar. Both. So, like, if you looked at, say, if you don't believe in tarot cards, that kind of thing, like, I'm not saying that people who do believe them are wrong. But if you don't believe them, even if you don't, tarot cards are a way to provide peace of mind to the paying customers. And so like just regular kind of psychics reading a crystal ball, that kind of thing. They provide peace of mind to people, they provide thought to people, they allow people to reflect. How is that any different from psychiatry, though? Right? Like psychology, actually studying the brain, that kind of thing, that affects tarot card reading, psychics, astrology as well, because they're using that basis of reading, like figuring out how people react to things and using it to reflect someone, right? Using it for people to look at themselves. So what he said is exactly the same as what Eliza is, as far as I can tell.
Psychology is more rigorous than you're making it out to be here.
Yes, that's exactly what he'd say.
But what is Eliza if not psychology / psychiatry?
Not only did he believe psychotherapy was worthwhile, he also thought the mind was fundamentally irreducible after a certain point.
What is irreducible? The mind was irreducible, as in you can't come back from sadness? Is that?
As if there was some undefinable, ineffable soul inside every person. It's all part of his silly, syncretic New Age belief system. Amazing he's held on to that for so long. I keep an open mind, but saying that something can't be represented with numbers requires a high burden of proof.
There's a lot of things that we today can't calculate as humans. There's an assumption that numbers are behind it, but there is so many things that would require so much calculation that we can't be sure that numbers are necessarily useful.
After all, numbers have been used to represent so very many things.
Yeah, it's also a human creation, numbers. You don't have to, like, the assigning of numbers is kind of arbitrary in the sense that, like, a lot of things have this 60-second mark, right? And 60 seconds is a format of time that people have guessed at. Like, 1/100th of a second is 1/100th of a second. There's nothing behind that. That's just a random measurement that someone has provided that is stuck.
Consider the example we spoke about before. A poem. Could you evaluate a poem using numbers?
Yes.
The answer is, of course, yes.
But also no. Like, you can evaluate poems' rhyme, but you can't evaluate a poem's, like, the emotion a poem gives.
Poems are either good, mediocre, or bad. It's entirely possible to create a heuristic that reflects the difference.
But no. A lot of people don't like very good poems, and they don't like it because they can't relate, they can't experience that. And so good, from a scientific standpoint, is the difference between a good rhyming pattern and one that isn't a good rhyming pattern, but the actual words used are very important and can't be, as far as I can tell, can't be mathematically.
By adding a margin of sample size, we remove localized biases. It would work the same way Eliza does.
I think I might disagree, Rana.
Disagree, Rainer.
But don't tell me you're an essentialist too. Algorithms.
No, I just think you're super culty.
Eventually, algorithms will write poems. One day, algorithms will write better poems than humans ever have.
I really disagree because it's relative to the person reading them.
I know this sounds like a controversial opinion, Evelyn, but it's simply the truth.
It's not the truth. Like, it's simply the truth. It's getting more culty the more this guy talks. What would be the point?
The point of that.
It doesn't matter. There's no stopping it.
Doesn't matter. Progress for the sake of progress. While a strange thing for me to say, the first thing that I think of when I think of that is freaking Umbridge's progress for the sake of progress is unnecessary. Or, I don't actually remember the whole line, but she's the bad person in that, obviously. Just continuously progressing with no goal in mind is dangerous. You can progress, and a lot of people do, but like... So, like, obviously, there are certain progressions. Like, I can't think of one that there is no point at the end. Like, there's no goal, you know? Like, computers, say, storage, the goal is obviously to increase the storage constantly and increase the speed constantly. And the reason for that is so we can make more efficient algorithms. there's always a point, and it's kind of like a circle. Like, you know, you need to have better computers to develop better programs to, you know, calculate better things, and then obviously that you'll need to continue to increase the computer based on the continued increasement of programs that you want, and it's kind of just this cycle, right? This kind of, I want to make a poem, I want to do this. So like I would say there is a point to that, like proving that a computer can do that, but he says it doesn't matter. He says he doesn't care that there's a point. He just wants to do it for the sake of doing it. And I don't like that. There's got to be a goal. Because that's, like, again, that's a big ethical system that a lot of people kind of don't talk about in compute. Like, doing something for the sake of doing something could kill a lot of people, could get a lot of people out of jobs, and just doing it because I don't care is not ethical.
If we don't take this,
you've got to think about.
Others will. There are hundreds of labs working on the same or similar ideas. Everyone wants to be in this business, the business of recreating human thought in our own image. And at the end of the day, it's not about money. It's about power, control.
Raynor, do you ever get tired of this? The constant drive to compete, to win?
No, I don't.
I think she's getting sassier, and I like it.
You know,
I think it might be my
retiring
choices.
somewhere and writing poetry.
Oh, there's no need for me to write poems. All beauty in this world is temporary, fleeting. That's the truth that underlies poetry and every other art.
It's interesting looking at his place, because it's got like this, like on the left you've got this kind of really spiritual area, which doesn't make sense for Raynor. And on the right you have that modern situation. I guess it's to represent like poetry. Like the left is that little tiny piece of, I want to, you know, write poetry, I want to have expression, but on the right is, you know, him working in Skanda trying to use the modern landscape to create the poetry.
The senses are just small bubbles on top of a vast sea of forms, sensations, perceptions, thought, awareness.
He's definitely working for Skynet.
Relevant to the Eliza project. Soren says he can induce you to dream things, dream anything, and maybe he can. But what comes next after that? What comes after having the power to experience the dream of anything you could possibly want? You're still just as trapped as you've always been, imprisoned by your own desires.
But what does Eliza do to fix that?
Even if someone like Soren managed to create a world for himself, his own weaknesses and negative thoughts would ruin it. He would poison his own fantasy. His utopia would crumble as soon as he finished building it.
I know he's saying even if all the things he says works, Soren's fundamentally flawed, but Raynor isn't.
Raynor, what are you trying to tell me?
What I'm trying to tell you is that what Soren is doing is not the answer. A dream by itself isn't enough.
It's not much different from
Take a close
Eliza.
look at a person who chases an end to suffering, and you'll see someone who suffers greatly.
Then why don't you build it yourself?
What is your dream, Evelyn? What is it that you're working toward?
Just tell me what you want from me.
I've been very clear about it, haven't I?
To work for Raynor again.
I'm offering you the opportunity to re-enter the field you pioneered at its very pinnacle. I can build you an entirely new research lab, equipped and staffed however you want. You would have access to the world's top engineers and researchers as we continue to develop Eliza's core technologies and generalize them. You'd also be working with the world's most interesting data set, the input provided by the thousands of ordinary people who speak to Eliza every day. Soon, this generalized intelligence will be everywhere human beings are, hearing them, guiding them, living among them.
I actually read a tweet thread probably today. It was like last night. It was actually saying, it was talking about how many computer engineers like kind of realized they were screwing over a lot of people's lives, and they had to dig deep to figure out what their programs were kind of being used for before they could quit. I think it was based on Elon Musk's just reveal that they want to deliver weapons to anywhere in the US in under an hour or something, which, you know, is terrifying, I would like to say. Yeah, and there was a lot of people in the thread basically going like, hey, I had a professor that left after he realized he was literally building guidance systems to kill people, and he was basically a murderer as far as he could tell. And that's kind of where all this kind of thing comes from. This, you've got to figure out what you're doing wrong. Evelyn has a choice here, right? Working there, working with all that data set, she's invading people's lives, invading people's their privacy, and using it to Skarna's advantage because legally there's nothing wrong with it. But ethically there's something wrong with it. But on the other hand, Reyna has specifically said other people are doing this. So the only difference between her not doing it is someone else doing it. Does her working on it mean that she gets control? She gets to avoid someone misusing it because she's using it. And what makes her qualified to determine what's misusing and what's using appropriately? There's so many ethical issues here that aren't easy to answer, I would say. You and Soren have more in common than you'd want to admit.
More in common than you'd want to admit.
You think we're both grandiose? Soren's idea isn't grandiose at all. It's small and unimaginative. Think about the vision here. General artificial intelligence, indistinguishable from human intelligence at first, and then surpassing it exponentially. It's nothing short of the creation of a new type of organism, a new type of life. And you, Eliza, could be at the very center of it.
Eliza.
Well, I mean, Evelyn.
That was an interesting slip of the tongue.
Stop it. The Eliza project occupies much of my mind.
It clearly does.
Plus, the names are similar.
I'm starting to wonder why.
Evelyn, listen to me. This is the chance to lead a project that will change the world. It would be a development on the same order as the harnessing of electricity or the semiconductor. It would fundamentally transform society.
For the better.
For the better.
What? Do you like the way things are now? Lie back and let the sweep of history bury you if you want, Evelyn. Just know you'll never have a chance like this again.
A chance to change the world. Reyna's words echo in my head for a long time. Is that what I want to do? She looks tired. I'm tired too. It's been a busy, difficult few weeks. I hope I come out of this with a way forward. She's swiping and tapping with a specific rhythm. Must be playing some kind of game. Same route, different reason. Feels strange. There was an incident at Bellevue. Client became agitated and began to shout angrily and verbally berate the proxy. The session was halted, security was called, and the man was escorted from the facility. Luckily, without further incident. I want to give kudos to Ray Bakari, whose fast action and people handling skills helped to resolve the situation. We're under constant scrutiny from watchdog organizations. It's not exactly fair, but one single mistake is going to generate an entire negative press cycle. Deal with every single one of these situations with the professionalism demonstrated by Ray. We are currently working on rolling out a series of training materials. Okay. Interesting. Automated reminder that Evelyn has an appointment today at Eliza. Okay, so we are going to Eliza next episode. So please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. Please follow me on twitch.tv/epicbunny with a Q instead of a P. I would love to see you there live because it's just fun chatting to you people live, and it's also nice because you can tell me what's going wrong with the episode as I'm going. Yeah, hope I'll see you there. Bunny out.